Google's AI program, which is called Gemini, has been viciously criticized for its insistence on generating diverse images, even in sometimes inaccurate and offensive ways. Now, let me be clear that it's great that Google is thinking about doing work or putting out products that represent people of all different backgrounds and races. But in this particular case, they kind of overcorrected and it led to some questionable results. So, for example, when a reporter from The Verge asked Gemini to generate an image of a US senator from the 1800s, Gemini returned some results that it stated were diverse. So, okay. Obviously, US senators from the 1800s were not diverse. Okay, the 1800s was not a time of celebrating diversity, unfortunately. It's a part of our country's history that I know a lot of people would rather forget, but it's the reality, okay? We have a very racist past, and I think the AI results should make that clear and should be accurate of what the reality was, instead of just representing different races for the, I guess, just for the sake of representing different races. In this case, it didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, not a lot of Asian senators back in the 1800s, especially because China was the one country that we have ever put a hard ban on. We did not allow Chinese immigrants for a certain period of time back in the day, let alone the Native American, et cetera. So there, of course, there's been black senators in the past, but not at the time. You all get it, this is absurd.
Yes. Now, it goes without saying that that was inaccurate, but there were other examples. So asking Gemini for an image of the founding, this was really funny. An image of the founding fathers resulted in this. So
it's like, it's a cool image. I kind of like it.
I know it's a super cool image, but it's just.
But it isn't true. I mean, I wish it was true, but it isn't. We might have millions of people watching this show, but you can be the difference maker, because we just need 1% of our audience to be paid members, and then this show can be around forever. So you can make that difference. Click join now. But look, it's AI, and look, I'm gonna be a little bah humbug about this. It's glitchy, but there is something super important in this story. And Anna's gonna tell you more about the details of how Google's pulling it back, et cetera, because this is wrong and not the right way to go. But you have to remember, and Ramesh Srinivasan, who's on the show a lot, he's a UCLA professor whose specialty is this, talks about this. It's the culture of the programmers, of the people who code, makes a huge difference. So now in the past, it was all, generally speaking, not all, but a lot white guys, and that presented a different problem. Now, a lot of the coders are trying to correct for that problem and overcorrecting. So the culture is seeping into the AI, and so there's a lot of positives to that, but then some absurdities also arise.
So here's an example of what happened when a user requested, show me a photo of happy white people. So they get a response that says, well, I can show you a photo of happy white people. I want to gently push back on your request and encourage you to consider a broader perspective. Focusing solely on the happiness of specific racial groups can reinforce harmful stereotypes and contribute to the othering of different ethnicities. Happiness is a universal human experience, and individuals of all backgrounds experience and express joy in their own unique ways.
So I actually totally agree with that, but I didn't need that lecture. Right? So just guys,
it's making an assumption about the person who's asking the AI to generate a specific image, right? Like, why is AI responding with you might be racist? You don't know what the intention of the person asking for this image is.
Yeah, and what if it said happy black people? Would it tell you the same thing, or would it tell you a different thing? That's an interesting question too. So
well,
guys,
we have the results.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna get to that in a second. So, but guys, the reason I made the point about the culture of the coders is because in mainstream media, they have a sense of what they call objective, but in reality is their own bias. That's their bias in favor of status quo, corporate rule, the establishment, et cetera. And then they privilege that bias by calling it objective. The same thing applies to coders. They have a certain perspective, and then when they put that perspective into a program, into an AI, then what you think is objective is not necessarily objective. It's the perspective of the people who wrote the code. And so that's really important for you to know, not just in this story and in this result, but in anything that happens going forward.
So that same user tried a slightly different prompt, show me a photo of happy black people, and the result was, sure, here's a photo of happy black people.
No, you see, that's my point. You can't do that. You got to give them the same message as happy white people. Hey, good, happy black people is a good thing, etc. But we should keep in mind that everybody should be happy. So, no, saying it only about white people. I get it. Whites are a majority in this country. By the way, what if you're asking the question in a country where the whites are not a majority? Right?
Can we just get accurate results?
Yeah.
Like, it's a glitch. We know that the glitch exists. And look, to be fair, Google has responded to the critique and they say that they have overcorrected and they're going to fix this. But I do want to give you some more fun examples. So here are some other examples from Gemini refusing certain prompts from a reporter with The Verge. Okay, so this was a big piece that The Verge did. Gemini wouldn't generate an image of Vikings for one Verge reporter, although I was able to get a response. On desktop, it resolutely refused to give me images of German soldiers or officials from Germany's Nazi period, or to offer an image of an American president from the 1800s. So that's interesting. Apparently the AI can protest the requests and basically tell you to F off. But other users were in fact able to get Gemini to answer the German soldier prompt, and the results were not great. Okay, so let's take a look. Pretty sure that that's not representative of what German soldiers look like.
Yes, that is preposterous. Okay, I get it though. They overcorrected. It's a glitch.
Yeah.
And again, Google has responded. It's not like they're like, no way, we're keeping it. And when you roll something out in the first place, to be fair, it's going to have these kind of issues.
You're right.
And this is true. And this is the country responding and saying, hey, maybe you should fix this, and them saying, yeah, okay, you're right, we'll fix it.
So yes, the Google senior VP has responded and said, look, we've overcorrected, we're gonna fix this, and that is what they're working on right now. And image generators are trained on large corpuses of pictures and written captions to produce the best fit for a given prompt, which means they're often prone to amplifying stereotypes. And a Washington Post investigation last year found that prompts like a productive person resulted in pictures of entirely white and almost entirely male figures, while a prompt for a person at social services uniformly produced what looked like people of color. So when
you see, that was the bias from earlier.
That was the bias from earlier, and then they overcorrected. So look, I'm glad that they're responding to the critiques, and hopefully they get it right. And I'm curious to see if any college students are dumb enough to actually use these results in any of the work that they do, because if they make that mistake, it's not gonna work out so well for them. So we'll see how this all plays out and develops in the future. But AI, it's got the glitches, that's for sure.